Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the latest book I just finished, which is called Patterns in the Sand. The full title also reads Computers, Complexity, and Everyday Life by Terry Boesmeyer and David Green. This book deals with the science of complexity, how complex systems affect everything around them, and how they differ from their simpler components, that the sum really is more than the total of its parts. And how this applies to climatology, physics, biology, both on a large scale, like an ecosystem, or a small scale, like genetic codes, and of course, computer science. How the concept of networks are set up, and so a network becomes part of an overall larger network, and how this complexity varies from place to place. How when you add new software to a computer system, you can have unexpected consequences because there are behaviors and responses within the system that you never planned for because these things were never tested together. There's also the concept of emergent behavior. For example, an ant is an extremely simple organism with very limited programming, and yet ants in a colony have emergent behaviors that look really complex. They get lots of complex tasks done, even though each member of the colony is very simple and the programming is very simple. This book is a very quick read. Part of it's a layout. It's got a fairly large font. There's a fair amount of space on the page. But the author's tone is very conversational. There are lots of examples to go by. There isn't a lot of hard math or lots of concepts that are not easily grasped. There is a lot of alphabet soup, though. A lot of acronyms are used in this book, and they'll explain them, and they start using them right away. So you have to keep up with that. That was the one thing I thought that maybe they should have cut back on. Maybe there should have been fewer acronyms. It's not that difficult with modern word processing programs to use the acronyms when you're writing it, and then go back at a later date and fill them in with a full explanation of what the acronym means. And it's basically no effort on the part of the person writing it. This book is definitely one I'm going to be passing on. While it's good, and it's a nice overview of all the topics I said that the book covers, I've touched on a lot of those topics myself already. So this was a nice collection, an introduction of how those individual topics relate to the science of complexity, but I don't think it's really something I'm ever going to need as a reference. Also, it's from 1998, so I know that some of the data is out of date. But as an introduction to the concept of complexity, and as a nice touchstone on the topics of physics, both particle physics and relativity, genetics and ecology, climatology, computer science, I think this is a nice starting point. I think this is a really good book for anybody. Suggest this for anyone of 7th grade and up to read. I think it's conversational enough that even a person in 7th grade could grasp the ideas without any difficulty. So, recommended, and I think that anyone who would take the time to look for a copy and read it would at least enjoy the read.